June 12th, 2019 will always be one of the best days of my life for obvious reasons. I'm sure it's all over Twitter right now. Blues fans won't shut up about it, and rightfully so. Today's your day. Go for it. When the last 10 seconds ticked off the clock in Game 7, and the Blues had a 4-1 lead, so many thoughts went through my head. I think the first thought was, holy shit, we're gonna do the thing. But then I kind of had a moment where, I mean, it's said before one dies, one passes away. It's said that your life flashes before your eyes. And in the final 3 seconds of the Stanley Cup final, when the Blues had a 4-1 lead, those last 3 seconds lasted a very long time for me, because my brain just sort of flashed back to my whole experience with Blues hockey. I can't really pinpoint a time where I was actually into Blues hockey. I can't remember when that really started. It's sort of been an all-time. I'm a first-generation hockey fan. You know, my parents weren't into it really. My dad was an Avs fan, kind of growing up, but not really. You know, just because it was the local team. And the neighbor kid had a dad who played in the WHL and was almost drafted in the NHL. And so obviously, you know, he had a net and, you know, he had some sticks. And I remember the summer of 2007. I think it was the summer of 2007 when I picked up a pair of rollerblades. I borrowed his dad's old wooden stick, but the thing about the stick was it was a righty, and I'm a lefty, so I had to. That's probably why I have a pretty good backhand to this day. My backhand's probably better than my forehand. I remember. I remember when me, the neighbor kid, and my brother would set up the net in the cul-de-sac. And the neighbor kid would play goalie. His name was Blake. He'd play goalie, and me and my brother would always face off. And I'd always win because I'm the older brother, of course. He was always the Canucks, and I was always the Blues. Now, for reasons that I don't really understand, I was the Blues. I think a lot of it was actually, while I'm thinking about it, I think the reason why I'm sort of a Blues fan is because the Blues logo was the easiest NHL logo for me to draw. And we would because we were kids and playing imagination, we set up a little rink out of chalk. We'd have blue lines and red lines in the cul-de-sac. And it was easy to draw the Blues logo. So I said, you know, screw it, I'm doing the Blues logo. And I think that's why. Thinking about that's so funny. I haven't thought about that for a long time. I've just kind of accepted that I've always been a Blues fan, but I never could pinpoint why. You know, none of my family's ever been based in St. Louis. The St. Louis has absolutely no significance to my life or my parents' life or my parents' parents' life or ever. You know, it just sort of came out of the blue, and I think that's why. I remember getting better with time. I remember being able to skate harder, and I think that's why I have power in my strides too, because the cul-de-sac was at an angle like that. It wasn't flat; it was at an angle. And so I hit my mic. I still can't resist that. I remember setting up the net. I remember the net would go on the higher portion, so you'd have to skate into, you know, the net. You have to skate up a hill to get to the net. So that's probably why me and my brother have pretty powerful strides. He was always the Canucks. I was always the Blues. And we'd always play. And then I had memories of, you know, me, you know, actually playing ice hockey. And I wasn't that good. You know, I wasn't very good. I had okay hands. I mostly hit people. That was kind of my job. I remember when I first got into trading hockey cards, and I would always want all the Blues players, you know, because I've been playing as the Blues for so long, and I wanted to be more realistic when I did play-by-play commentary as I took the puck, you know, as kids do. So it'd be, oh, now I'm Matt D'Agostini. Now I'm, TJ Oshie. Now I'm David Backus, And that's sort of what got me into like statistics and getting into the actual players. And I'd watched a few Blues games on the television, but not very many. I could only watch them being, in Seattle. I could only watch them, when they were like on NBCSN, because that was a channel that we had. I remember following the Blues at the beginning of the 09-10 season and really, getting to know the players and line combinations and really being a fan. And I don't remember, a hell of a lot about those times, but I remember enough. And I remember that TJ Oshie was my favorite player. And I only then, after I'd decided, okay, he's my favorite player, I found out he was, from the area. He literally grew up playing at the same arena that I grew up playing at. So that was pretty cool. And then I remember thinking about the first time I met TJ Oshie's dad, which was coincidentally the first time I was ever on the news. But I was going to hockey. I think it was a game. It wasn't a practice. It was a game. And he was outside. And there was like a camera crew. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure what's happening. And me and my teammate were walking past. And then his teammate's dad said, hang on. His name was Gordy. He said, Gordy, there's somebody I want you to meet. And he goes, this is Tim. This is TJ Oshie's dad. And my face just lit up. Because, oh my gosh, this is my favorite player's dad, and he's outside my arena. What's he doing here? So I got to have a conversation with him, me being a starstruck little, 13-year-old kid, I was probably younger than that, but being a starstruck kid, then going on the news that night. But that wasn't even like most kids would brag about being on the news, but I don't brag about being on the news that day. I brag that I met TJ Oshie's dad. And then for I think I want to say my 14th birthday or something like that, he did a golf he does a golf charity tournament by my house, and he did a golf charity tournament at a golf course that was right by my house at the time, and the kids who went in were the guys who like donated the most or something like that. But I decided, I kind of want to show up. So I had like a poster, and I was, showing it at cars passing by. Hopefully that TJ Oshie was in it. And then lo and behold, TJ Oshie's dad comes out and he says, hey kid, come on inside. TJ wants to see you. And I was like, what? TJ Oshie wants to see me? TJ Oshie, the NHL player, the guy that I have like 3 jerseys of that I absolutely, love. He came in. I came inside the lobby, and there's TJ. And he's right there. And my first thought of TJ was, wow, he's a lot smaller than I thought he would be. He's only 5'11". And so I remember seeing, I don't think I have a picture. I probably don't, but I'm not going to waste time looking at it. If I do, I'll tweet it out tonight. He signed my jersey. It was a brand new jersey that I got for my birthday. And he signed it, and he said, happy birthday from TJ Oshie to Mason. And that was the coolest thing. And it's at my parents' house in Seattle right now. Darn, I wish I got that, but I should have brought it over here. Next time I go over, I'll bring it over just so I can show people. So then I met TJ Oshie, and that's the moment where I said, Blues fan for life now, of course. And TJ Oshie's favorite player, Blues fan for life now. No question about it. And I think like 2 years later, he was dealt in the offseason. So it wasn't wonderful, but I think that was one of the first times that I was like really emotional about a player leaving. And then at one of my brother's practices, actually, I met TJ's dad a third time, just hanging out, which was super cool. And I think meeting, a player, and I'm trying to think, but I think that's the only Blues player I've ever met, like personally met. And that sort of solidified me to being a Blues fan. And by the way, both of those moments are going through my head in the final 3 seconds of Game 7. There was absolutely no reason for me to be a Blues fan, really. It just sort of happened. I didn't know the ins and outs about the organization until probably 2015 is when I was really into the Blues and knew as much as I do now. But even though I wasn't a fan for very long, only 9 years, as a matter of fact, before I saw my team win a championship, I thought about all the people who had been there since the beginning, since 1967. I'm thinking of the Bob Plagers. I'm thinking of the Brian Sutters. I'm thinking of the Brett Hulls. I'm thinking of all the season ticket holders. I'm thinking of all the, the great grandma Blues fan that was, I think, like 102 when she saw the cup or something like that. I remember her. I remember, Tom and Wags have been cheering for this team a lot longer than I have. And I remember, everybody just coming together and just being like, "Oh my God, we freaking did it! We freaking did it!" And I was on that bus because it didn't seem like this team was ever gonna win. 9 years and I was in so much pain and suffering. It's funny to think about how I've only been cheering for this team for 11 months or 11 years, excuse me. Like genuinely cheering for 11 months or 11. Gotta love one take videos, but I've been cheering for this team for 11 years, only 11 years. And I yell about this team because I'm so passionate about it, because it's like Blues hockey is literally my life now. And it just doesn't make sense. It baffles me. It baffles me how I let this team play with my feelings like this. And all these thoughts are running through my head. And I'm thinking about all, the 2016 team is actually what I'm really thinking about. The team that was supposed to do it. The team where this was their year and they just barely came. That was 2016's fall in the conference finals was probably the most heartbreaking season that I ever watched. And as I'm sitting there with my Louis stuffed animal that I got in St. Louis in 2017 when I went to a game. The only time I've ever been to St. Louis, the only time I ever went to then Scottrade Center. It was a game Halloween night 2017 against the Minnesota Wild. And that was the Blues' first 3v3 overtime win. David Backes scored it. David Backes scored the overtime winner. But I'm sitting there on the couch with my Louis doll, and I'm wearing this jersey. I was wearing this jersey when the Blues won the cup. And I think my mom and dad remember I crumpled to the floor. And I was like, I wasn't sobbing, but I was like, oh my God, I actually did it. I don't cry at movies and video games as powerful as that. I don't do that. That's not my thing. I'm not an emotional person like that. I've only cried 3 times when it comes to Blues hockey, not including Plager's death. That doesn't count. But I cried at Maroons Game 7 overtime winner. I cried when the Blues won the cup, obviously. But I cried a lot of times during the whole, the cup win and the parade and everything. I cried. So that's all lumped into one. And then I cried at Backes' retirement because that was an emotion. Let's be honest, that was very emotional. That's partially why that BFR was so short, was because I didn't want to talk about it and start crying, honestly. I remember thinking about, how long all my friends, all the people that I've gotten to know You know, all the Blues fans I got to know over the season and throughout my Blues fandom. Just watching everybody come together and be so happy for a team. And gosh, I just wish I was there. I wish I was there to celebrate the parade, and I wish I was there, you know, to the reaction. If I was in St. Louis, I'm meeting the Blues at the airport at 3 a.m., you know, with the Stanley Cup. I'm absolutely doing that. And I'm there at the parade, and I'm there when they, you know, at the stage under the arch, you know. I'm thinking about all this, and I'm not sure. I still don't know why I'm a Blues fan. It doesn't make sense to me. But I know that I am. And as I've been covering the Blues this season, you know, as heartbreaking and as stupid, you know, this season was, how disappointing this season was. You know, I have something that not a lot of fan bases have. Some fan bases have them, but not all of them have it. You know, I can look back and say, you know what, we did it. You know, sure, we lost, but we did it once. And it sort of brings me comfort. You know, that's a feeling that not a lot of fan bases really get. And for that, I feel very fortunate. But I can look back at that season's highlights, and it's not living in the past. All right, but let's get that out of the way right quick. It's not living in the past. You know, I don't bring it up in like a Twitter argument. I say, at least my team has won a cup. You know, if I do, I say it very sarcastically. But I can look back and I can say, you know what, this team won a cup in my lifetime, and God damn it, it was a great cup. It was a great cup. It was a well-deserved cup, and it was an unbelievable season that I'll never forget. So as we approach, you know, today when this video comes out, it's actually during the filming of this. I started at like 11 something p.m. on June 11th, and now it is officially June 12th. In the middle of recording this, so that's cool. As I watch the Blues, you know, huddle around, and as I watch Pietrangelo lift the cup, and as I watch Jay Bouwmeester get the cup, and as I watch the players go down the line, lifting the freaking Stanley Cup, and just thinking to myself, like, this is an absolute freaking dream come true. You know, and I didn't even win the stupid thing. I didn't do it. All right, why am I so happy that a group of men who are paid to put a puck in a net, why am I so happy about that? And the answer is, I don't really know. There's no reason for me to be as happy as I am, but you could tell by how, you know, the guys carried themselves with the cup that this wasn't their cup. This was the city's cup. This was the fans' cup. You know, and like I said, I'm very fortunate that I get to look back and say, you know what, we did it. You know, this season might have sucked, but guess what? We did it. We did it already. We've been at the top. We know what it feels like. And that season really reignited my passion in the game. You know, I think the season before that was the first season that I paid for NHL.com TV so that I could, you know, watch every Blues game as many as I could. I think that was the first year I did that. And then the next year we won the freaking cup. So I guess that's a good thing. I don't really know what else to say. I just kind of felt like rambling into the microphone. I remember my feelings going into Game 7 were extremely nervous. The most nervous by far that I've literally ever been. I remember, you know, us being thoroughly outplayed in the first period and me being super nervous. And I remember Ryan O'Reilly scoring that goal. And I know a lot of Blues fans said the moment that O'Reilly scored the goal, that's when they knew the Blues were winning the cup. Not me. Nope, not me. I was still very, very nervous. I was like, oh, we just pissed off the Bruins, because that was like, what, our second shot on goal that we scored, or our third or something like that. And then when Jaden Schwartz scored, or excuse me, not Jaden Schwartz. Jaden Schwartz had the pass, but Alex Pietrangelo scored the second goal, with 7.9 seconds to go in the first. And I thought to myself, oh man, the Bruins are going to be pissed and they're going to come out in the second period and we're going to be down 5-2 headed into the third. And then the Blues played unbelievable. The Blues played unbelievable. I didn't think that I could, get past how nervous I would be at the beginning of Game 7 in the second round. This is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. This is like more nerve. This is about going into the Stanley Cup Final Game 7 third period was about 10 times worse than going into double overtime against the freaking Dallas Stars. It was that nervous. I remember going into the third period, and I remember Tarasenko with the pass again, and Braden Shen scoring the 3-0 goal, and going like, okay, here we go. We're finding our rhythm again, but the Bruins can still win this. I'm still nervous. I'm thinking, okay, now the Bruins are really mad because they've been, for the most part, pretty much manhandling the Blues, and Jordan Binnington has been the sole reason that this game is the reason why it is. And then Zach Sanford scores the 4-0 goal. And that's when a little tinge in the back of my head started saying, hey, we actually might win this. That was the first time the entire game, with less than 4 minutes left, we had a 4-0 lead. Zach Sanford scored the goal. And that was the first time that I actually got the small tinge. It wasn't very big. It was still there was still a mountain of anxiety that actually the Blues could score a goal. The Bruins could score a goal, rapidly, and then again and again and again. The Bruins could still very much win this game. And then it was immediately overshadowed when Matt Grzelcyk scored that goal. I don't even remember how much time there was left. It was a little over 2 minutes. But Matt Grzelcyk scored, and I was like, oh, here it is. Here's the ultimate collapse. We're never going to hear the end of it. And then the first time, really that tinge like, hey, we're winning the freaking cup, Mason, started overpowering the anxiety with about 20 seconds left, I think. I wasn't 100% positive until there were 20 seconds left. And when they say that was the longest 1 minute of every Blues fan's life, it wasn't the last minute. It was the last 20 seconds that were the longest 20 seconds of any game ever. I look at it now. I look at the replay of it now, and I'm like, that went by really quickly. And that's probably because I remember it lasting so freaking long when I thought about it. But we fucking did it. We won the Stanley Cup. Alex Pietrangelo lifted it, and everybody else lifted it. And then we got the parade. Then they got the rings. And it was kind of then when I decided, you know what? I really want to make a hockey channel. It was pretty soon after that. It was that offseason where I said, you know what? I really want to make a hockey channel. But I didn't think that there would be, much of a market for it because, I hadn't seen anybody do it. And then lo and behold, in February 2020, the Toronto Maple Leafs lose to a 42-year-old Zamboni driver that literally works for them. And I see this Leafs fan losing his fucking shit. And that's when I kind of realized that, oh shit, there is a market for this. And so then I had to think of a name, And throughout the offseason, I was thinking about it. Or not the offseason, but when the pandemic put the season on hold, I was thinking about it. I was like, should I do this? Should I? I don't know if I should. And I finally decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to do Blues Fan Reacts because I couldn't think of anything. And that was originally going to be like a placeholder name until I could think of something more original. But I don't know. I just kind of stuck. It sort of feels nice. It doesn't feel like, I don't think it feels like I'm copying, Steve Dangle. I don't think so. Some of my content kind of mirrors it, but I'm afraid, I think over time my content has grown kind of away from that. I think we're two separate identities. I don't think I'm copy pasting anymore. Not nearly as much as I did in the beginning. I feel like he's, a lot more play by play based, and I'm a lot more, opinion based and a lot more, emotion based. And my team has won a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. So, but wow, we've been going for 25 minutes. This is going to be a bitch to upload. But I don't know, Blues Fan Reacts, and now that, I kind of have to stick with it now, because I have, it's sort of what people know me for. People know me for being Blues Fan Reacts. And I'm glad that I am where I am. I like what I've done with the channel. I like the new microphone, by the way, debut for the mic. No better time to debut a mic than right now, right? If you've made it to this point, you're a freaking beast. To let me know, tell you what, if you're listening to me saying this right now, because this is 26 minutes and I'm sure you guys are very busy people. If you are listening to me say this right now, then say, I don't know, what should I do? What should say, like soda can or something like that. You like say your favorite soda. Say your favorite soda in the comments below, and then just confuse people who only watch for a couple minutes and go like, why is everyone saying their favorite soda? Just to let me know that you're watching. You're a fucking legend if you're listening to me right now. Everybody's a fucking legend. Anybody who clicks on a video of mine, whether to spread hate or spread love or to, tell me I'm doing a good job or tell me I'm doing a shit job, you're freaking legends. Freaking legends for sticking with me for this long. What am I, 285 strong now? Which is 275 subscribers more than I thought I would have at this point. So I'm happy. I'm pretty happy with where I am. And I'm happy where my team is right now. Obviously, I yell at them. That's because I love them. I get a lot of comments on my BFR. It's like, it seems like you really hate this team. It seems you hate this team because you yell at them so much. You yell at the ones you love. All right, think about parents. Think about parents. We all had that one spoiled kid in school, right? In elementary school and middle school whose parents let him do whatever he want. How did he turn out? Probably not great. Probably didn't turn out very good. But the kids who did spankings, because I got spanked and I'm okay with it because it shaped me to who I am and I deserved it. I deserved it every single time. The kids like that, the kids who got disciplined, the kids who got yelled at, we turned out pretty good. Not great, but we turned out pretty good considering, a lot better than the kids who didn't get disciplined, right? And that's kind of my approach with the Blues. I'm the dad. I'm the Blues dad. I'm telling him, hey, you're not being a very good boy right now. Or I say, you're doing a great boy. Here's a jersey sale. I entice them. The jersey sales are their allowance. Looking back to that moment, I kind of think about, it still confuses me why I'm a Blues fan. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense to anybody, but I am. And I always will be. I always will be. They can break my heart 1,000 times and I'll still love them. If Steve Dangle can stick with the Toronto Maple Leafs, I can stick with the St. Louis Blues. I've only been here 11 years, right? I'm almost 21 years old. In July, I'll be 21. So, I'm not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Not as long as I live. And I hope when I die, I get buried wearing this jersey and holding this bear, because this bear was there too. This bear was there when I won the cup. If I find a picture, I'll tweet that picture as well. So I'll tweet if I see a picture of me with TJ Oshie, and then I'll tweet a picture of me holding the bear, sitting down watching the Stanley Cup. Thank you guys for being there. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for not telling me I suck. This is going to be a fun, a chapter when it comes to content for me. I don't know how long I'll be doing content. I might stop. I really don't know. I might stop soon. Not anytime soon, but maybe soon. But I like what I got. I like the people that I've met. I like, all the people who, yeah, all the friends that I met through Twitter. Because I've met a lot of Blues fans through my videos that I didn't think I'd meet. Without my videos, I wouldn't have met Tom. I wouldn't have met Wags. I wouldn't have met, AZ Sports Guy if you're out there. I wouldn't have met Guy the Hawaii Blues fan. I wouldn't have met, so many people. So many people. And not just from the Blues fan base, but like from other fan bases like Arizona, Matthew, the AZ Sports Guy. And I would have met Louis Principe. He watched my videos every once in a while. Hot Take Hockey, I wouldn't have met him. He's a good supporter of the channel. So many people that, and even people I look up to a little bit when I do content, people like, I Don't Give Kachuk. People like, just so many people that I get the privilege of knowing just by, screaming into a camera, which is a weird thought to me. Yeah, this is turned into a very long video, but thank you guys very much for sticking around. Thank you for supporting me in everything that I do. Let's see if we can do 300. Let's see if we can get 300 by the end, before next season. I think we can do that. I think we can do that. My goal at the beginning of this year was 200, and obviously we smashed that. So, yeah. It is, we're going on 32 minutes, so I think it's time to call this video quits. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys like the new mic. Hopefully it makes me sound silky smooth. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Blues.